Hey there. So yesterday I was working a little bit on just bringing up some old examples of my code for that I wrote like many ages ago. That was for just drawing some various things on the screen using Block, which is the low-level vector drawing system for Glamorous Toolkit here, which is the Smalltalk shell you're looking at right now. I've been watching some videos about how to use this thing and to kind of get better at the Smalltalk experience. So they have a bunch of wonderful videos over on the Glamorous Toolkit channel. It's just G Toolkit on YouTube. And so hopefully I can do a little bit better. But basically tonight I want to build on this diagram. This is kind of like the start on the diagram I actually want to build, or the kind of the visual language that I want to build for working with Boolean expressions. These represent bits that can be toggled on and off. And so this is what I had done, again, 2 years ago. When you open this up, you can see, oops, no, that's not it. Yeah, this views the code. And so I just kind of wrote this as a kind of an inline script, which is not a very Smalltalky way of doing things at all. But I'm going to take this and I'm going to start working from that. So I'm going to just copy this, and the goal is to, basically start building. Well, I call it an AST, but like a graph that represents a Boolean function. So you'll have nodes that represent ands and ors and XORs and things like that. And then the data will kind of flow up to the top, and we can see what the value of the node is, or of the total expression is. All right, so there'll also be variables here. So these will just be, input bits will be given names, and then you'll be able to, we'll see. All right, so the first things I want to do is I want to make these be, I guess, some kind of object. And so I'm going to start by creating a new Lepiter page. Lepiter is just the tool for the notebook, basically. So the notebook interface. So I'm going to make a new page, and I'm just going to call it so Bex bits, I guess. So actually, I have a table of contents now, but I don't know how to use it. I just set this up. I'll worry about that later. I'll worry about organizing these some other time. I only have these handful of pages right now. All right, so this will be called drawing bits. So we'll call it input variables. I'm tempted to call them NIDs, but I'm not sure that's exactly the same concept quite yet. So a NID is a node identifier in Bex. Bex is my Rust library for doing all this stuff. Bex has two parts. One is it has some stuff for building what I call an abstract syntax tree, building the expressions basically, and then it has stuff for solving the expressions and turning them into like simpler expressions, or better yet, finding a set of inputs that will make the expression true. And so that's kind of the purpose of hang on a second, one second. Yeah, I'm always thrown off by YouTube telling me that it's not live ever since it ate one of my videos, or telling me it's upcoming when it's still live, or whatever. Telling me it's upcoming. Yeah, it's just it's fine now. All right, so drawing input variables in Bex, probably is what I want to call it. So this isn't Bex. It's more like a shell for Bex. Small Bex. What do I want to call it? Bare Bex. I don't know. When I started making a web server that would talk to Bex, I was calling it Visibex. Let's just call it Bex for now. I don't know if this is an official part of Bex or anything, but all right, so that gives me a name over here. This is the table of or the pages for my book. And I add page. Okay. So probably this needs to be the name of the book, right? Well, we'll figure that out later. All right, so I want to make a new Pharo, and I'm going to just paste in the demo that I've already got. And then if I inspect that, this should go away, and I will get something over here. Oh, I see. So that gave me that 0, but I actually want to return is root. Okay, so the preview is a snap, is just a picture. Live is this, but interesting. Did I fail to copy some of it? Is that the problem? If I go to block examples, I bet I failed. I bet I didn't copy everything. Yeah, I left out the part. There's supposed to be a row of black ones and then a row of white ones. So that would explain why it didn't. Also, why I didn't render it first. That's what I expect. That's nice. You get the preview snapshot, and then you get the. It's like a little Polaroid. Okay. Overview gives you a bunch of stuff about the. Oh, nice. You can inspect each little part of each little attribute. So basically, this is a BL element. The root is a BL element, but I'm not sure what I did to get to that. Okay. Not sure what. Okay. Widget, I guess, is the top level thing. I guess widgets are probably a concept from a higher level thing. So you got block at the bottom, that's BL element. And then you have brick on top of that, which is the widget toolkit. So I bet that is what widget is for. And then also built on top of all of this is the notion of, so I guess some elements are also widgets, meaning that they're interactive. Maybe this should be a widget. I don't know. And then in addition, there's a tool called Mondrian. Mondrian is like a general purpose Smalltalk library. Yeah. I forget what this page is called, but it's called Mondrian by example or something like that. I meant to. I took this title out because it was conflicting with my YouTube title, my screenshot, my thumbnail. So I changed that, and then I forgot to paste it back in. So whatever this was called before, I renamed it. But this is a page that comes with. That comes, it's part of the Glamorous Toolkit documentation. Not sure exactly where that came from. I bet I searched for this, and then so it looks like Mondrian. I don't think I'm going to be able to get my name, because it already thinks this is the new name. So I don't yet know how to find the changes for that. But anyway, you can see that you can make all kinds of little diagrams in here, and they can be pretty sophisticated. Diagrams can contain diagrams because it's like, it's all one scene graph all the way down. All right, so I guess we'll learn about that. So my goal here is to take this picture that I have, not this picture. I'm done with this. This picture, and let's start refactoring this. So I'm kind of I watched a nice couple of nice videos, but one that's particularly good is it's a demo of, on the Glamorous YouTube channel about making just a small stack machine. It's like a 20-minute video, and Oscar, one of the presenters there, talks about how to make. He just does a demonstration basically, and he starts like this, like, so create a new Pharo snippet, and he basically says, like, stack machine new, right? And then you get this little thing that lets you create a new class, because this is telling you it doesn't exist. Reference to undeclared variable. So what I want to do, I guess, is probably I want to make a bit, like I want to make this into an object, but I also want to make the background into an object, be like a container for bits. So let's call it Beck's drawing new. Beck's drawing, Beck's canvas. Let's call it Beck's drawing. Beck's diagram, Beck's canvas new. All right, so then I click on this, create class Beck's canvas. It's going to be just I guess it would just be an object. We're going to make a view for it that generates one of these things, but it probably shouldn't just be that thing. It probably shouldn't just be a BL element. So it probably should make a BL element. Package name is Bex. That's a package that I have in my local install that I save on my repo. I don't know what a tag is. And then the slots are going to be well, if I model the way Bex works, you have like a database of nodes. So you're going to have a base, okay? And then you're going to, I hope that's not like a keyword. And then you're going to have no, it's definitely not a keyword. There's only like 4 keywords, like self and true and false, I think, and this context. Maybe nil. So you have base, and then what else do we have? We have, the things. It's really should be drawing is probably a better name, because it's a drawing of it's a drawing of a base or diagram, right? So Bex, and then I guess the nodes. But it wouldn't be just nodes, it would be like nodes in space, right? Like, where are they? Like position nodes. Um, all right, whatever. That's good enough for now. We'll change all these things as we go on. So we're going to draw a picture. We're going to have nodes that are like kind of floating around in it. I think nodes are I think nodes is actually like a word used in Mondrian, right? Like, it's called nodes somewhere. like at the very bottom here, it says like differences from the Rosal version of it. Rosal is another library that doesn't use this block framework, as far as I know. Yeah, so nodes is used as a name in the namespace. So maybe nodes is not the right word. Maybe I'll just call it nids. Because you'll ask the base for these nids and then you'll position them somewhere. Nid views, maybe? I don't know. All right, anyway, that's good enough. Okay. So if we inspect that, we run it, we inspect it, we get nothing. Okay. What does this do? Advice. Remove X canvas. That's its advice. Not reference, so remove it. Browse class, inspect object. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make one of these views for it. So, so when we inspect it, we want to see the canvas, right? So, if I click Alt on this, I get a description of how this is being rendered. I did this before. So you basically just add a method. You add a GT. You see like GT drawing for GT canvas for a view, right? GT drawing for a view. So we browse this class. Let's click this and make a new thing, and we'll say we're going to add a method called GT drawing for. A view, and then we will return no. But we also want to call it. I guess I'm just filling in everything I need to do. So this would be a GT view, GT class view, or GT view. Got to look at what it does over here. So, you know, I'm clicking on comment here. The GT Leopard comment for a view, GT view, and then a view. Explicit title is comment. And then the stencil. Okay, so, oops. Didn't, oh, okay, so a view, explicit, return a view explicit. So that, you know, you're drawing something on a view, and then the title is going to be drawing, and then the stencil is going to be BL circle. Nope. BL element. And the stencil will just be just no stencil for now. All right, so now if I go here and I close this I run this again, I'll get a new one that uses a new thing, and I have a, okay, so the stencil should be initialized. But I do see this, I do see a drawing. Okay, progress. All right, so now I want it to basically be this. No, what do I want to do? I want this to be the root, right? So I want all this stuff I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to add it to I think if you just press enter, control enter. Yeah, control enter made a new one. So if I say Bex canvas new GT drawing for, right? Oh, but I don't have a view. The inspector provides the view. So what do I do here? Debugger. But I can say GT new GT drawing 4, and then I can press this arrow to get the editor for this if I want to. Maybe this is not the most sensible way to do this, but you know, you keep trying things, and little by little you shave off the work. Okay, so yeah, so this would be I'm trying to make the stencil. So stencil is a setter that I'm passing to the explicit view, I guess. Okay, so stencil to the view, right? And then stencil is going to be just a thing that has a local variable called root. Now we can take all this and put it in here. So, so the root is, I may not need this. I may not need the word root, but we'll see. Root is a BL element new, and I think if I don't tell it the size, it just expands to the. Oh, so stroke is this. And this needs to be parenthesized, because otherwise it would be border paint black or border paint. I'm not sure I need that, but I'm just, okay. Background is what I really care about. So background is the one I care about. So, okay, so we've got a background. And then just end this. And then I'm gonna put this in comments just in case I want to use it in a bit. Yeah, I don't think I need this. I think field element new. Is it auto formatting my code? Is that what's happening? And so I saved that method. Okay, now I got this. So size. All right, since I don't know how to make it as big as it needs to be yet, I will just say, I'll just go ahead and put the size in. Now that's weird. If I say 320 by 240. Oh, okay. I guess maybe because I'm scaling everything. then that's just the size. That's actually like a pretty good fit for this window, because then there's room here to pull this up, and now you can talk to it and say like like self or whatever, self base. Nope. I'm a Bex canvas. I should have a base, should I not? Meta says I'm a Bex canvas. Did I not make a slot that said base? Base. I did, yeah. Oh, but I didn't make an accessor for it. So base, create accessors. Now if I say self base, and I inspect it, I should get a nil, right? Because there's nothing. An undefined object, nil, yeah. Cool. Okay, so then I don't need this. And I don't need any of this now anymore because I can just do this. And, right, so this can just completely go away. Okay, so Bex Canvas New gives me a blank slate. And now I want to I guess I want to start adding some bits to it. So I want to say so I guess I would say add bit no, let's say add, because we don't know what we're adding, right? We're going to add a thing that can be drawn, right? So it would be a nid, right? So add a Bex nid, right? Add a Bex nid. It would be a Bex node, right? And so well, I mean, basically, we're doing this stuff down here. So we're gonna get something like a bit. I'm gonna say add child. So except we're not, right? Because we're not modifying this drawing. We're creating this drawing on the fly. So when we make the drawing, we're going to add things to it. But here we want to really, what we want to do is we want to let's call it abex nid. Add a nid. So a nid is a node ID. Abex nid, and then self nids. I can create accessors for. Add a Bex nid. I think that's it. Okay, so what do I add? Now I want to add a new bit. So Bex really bexnid new. Bexnid. Oh. O and I are constants, right? So O. Oh, okay, so yeah, so let's just do it like that. All right, so create class bexnid, and then we're going to create it in package bex, and slot is is. If I just do it the way bex works in Rust, we have is const. What else can it be? It can be is var, is ver. Well, that's called is real, is virtual. How about that? Yeah, is ver is fine. How about is? Oh, okay. The actual slots are named. Yeah, they're not named that. They're named V and R and whatever. And then is fun. How about K flag? How about flags? So it would be like a set of these things. And then it usually has an index, and it may have a variable. So IDX and var. Vid would be the name, not a variable, but a vid. It would have a variable ID. And the index could also be a table. Oh, we just call it data, and then we get it as an index or a table based on. Basically, it's a U30. It's a U32 in there. That's kind of like crazy, right? So how about n? How about because the thing is, it's a 64-bit in Rust. It's a 64-bit integer basically, and then I just use different bits of it to do different things. So the fields vary. So I mean, it really represents. There are several kinds of NID. So maybe this is an abstract. Okay, so maybe I don't need any slots right now. Right. So maybe based on the kind that of subclass I get, maybe in Smalltalk it makes sense to be a subclass. All right. So we're just going to create that. So we have a bex nid, and then so I'm imagining new being replaced by O. Like in other words, it's a class, and I want there's like a singleton. Like there's a specific instance of a nid called O that is like the false node. Right, so I want to add. I guess I would probably add a class method. But it's a. Oh yeah, it knows it's a class method, not just a regular. thing. And so we'll just return a back. Oops. We'll return a bex const 0. If I save that, return bex const 0. I'm not getting one of these little structures. Let's just make a new Pharo snippet. And we'll say bex const. Oh, I see. You can't just pass a 0 to a thing. You'd have to call it bex const new 0. All right, so now we create a class called bex const, also in bex. We're good. And then we're going to create like really this should be a singleton, right? Like there should be only 2 of these things. All right, so it's going to return a bex const O, right? And then all right, so I may be overcomplicating this. So this returns res. So res is equal to yeah, it's a singleton. So what I want to say is if O, no, there's no O, is O is nil, if nil, O if nil, and then return, and then we would say O is equal to, so I want to add a slot, right? Add a class slot. Add slot in bex const class. So O if nil, then O equals bex const new value 0. But I don't want this to have I'm almost tempted to say, well, I've already got a class called true and false that does like everything that you want to do in Smalltalk. Like maybe instead of that, I just wrap the Smalltalk bit. Does that make sense? That makes sense, right? Like, okay. So then I think what happens is that if we look at the class for false, like what is false? False is its own class. There's a superclass called Boolean, and then it's false, and then it. I think what I want to do is I want to like add a subclass for false. If I make a subclass. Well, you just make a new class, but superclass false, yeah. So package Bex, and we're going to just call it BexO. Yeah. And then I'm going to add another one that is a BexI, and I'm going to just make it a superclass. It's going to be true. And then now you can do everything you could do with true and false with these things, but they'll also be able to draw themselves as soon as we give them right. So delete that. So O is just going to return. Oh, we don't need this. I don't think we need this method. All right. So how about Bex mid? I don't think it makes sense to subclass. It doesn't make sense to subclasses because it's a. So I just want to add a method to. You don't actually. See, and you don't actually want it to do everything that true and false does. You do want it to do what true and false do, but you want them to. You want them to have the same interface as true and false because it would be nice to be able to write Smalltalk code that. You want it to have like if true and if false and like actually take a block and do something. I don't know. I've never hooked up like logic to this. I'm getting way ahead of myself. So let's just stick with this idea of making them classes, but instead of classes, I realize this is like the most it's supposed to be about Mondrian. I haven't even gotten into Mondrian yet, but all right. So this is going to return BexO. It's going to return BexO instance. And add that to the instance. I feel like there's going to be like a lot of little tokens that are okay. You know what? For now, say new. Bex-O new. Yep. Okay. And then when we go to Bex-O, we're gonna look at that, and we're not gonna change it. You're just gonna let it be an object. Oops. Work. Can I change the superclass? Sure, I can change it. No, I cannot change the superclass. And now we can change. Superclass is object. Bex const. That is inspecting the method. That's not what I want. I want Bex const. Bex-O instance. All right. Don't know what I'm doing here. Yeah, because I want to have like O and I and XOR and all these things to be constants. Okay, so I don't want that. So I'm not sure how inheritance works in this particular case because I want every one of these things to have an instance. But I don't want that instance to be inherited from base const. Let's see what happens here. So this has a class slot. So if I go to O, then I'm going to return I don't know that I'd ever need to refer to this. Like this would be the place where we'd say Bex-O instance. That's what I want to say. Okay, so this can probably just go away. Does not, so I got self does not understand Apex. Okay, that's fine. That's because I haven't initialized this, but all right, so Bex-O instance is a class. Yeah, I don't think I did not inherit this from. Okay, so instance. Check slot names. Duplicate a slot. Okay, so appeared in twice in a meta class. Okay. All right, that's fine. Let me just start over. XCons. That's where it is. Now if I say Bex O, inspect that. Let's say new. Let's call this new. Nope, new. I want. And then if no instance if no instance equals I'm doing meta. I don't know how to do this in Smalltalk. I don't know how to say this. Okay, how would I say this? Well, it's not super new, is it? It's equal super new. Let's try that. I'm not sure if that works or not. And then instance, and we return the instance, and then period. Okay. I don't know if you can do this in Smalltalk. And this just goes away. All right, so Bex0 new, and then what do we return? Does it's either gonna give me this thing correctly. It gave me a Bexo, okay. And then ideally, well, there should be the same one, okay. And how would I see that? It's not showing me the class slot. That's weird. I'm not entirely sure what to make of that. And this is what happens when you don't know the language you're working in. All right, okay, but anyway, so it's creating a new thing, and then now I want to say I want to add a GT drawing for a view, and this is a GT view, and then a view explicit, and then, or we want to return a view explicit view, and then it's going to be the title is drawing. The title is drawing, and the stencil is self get stencil, self stencil. Create the stencil, and then the stencil is going to be BL element new. Geometry, I'm copying this now, is a BL circle geometry new. And then the border is this. Uh-oh. I lost whatever I was typing there. So we'll just copy this. All right, so the bit color is color from hex string. This is a false one, so we're going to draw it as dark. Number 333. So this. And then the border is this. I'm going to say self-stroke, make a new method, self-stroke, and then I feel like that should not, you shouldn't need friends, but it's not asking me for a, okay, so and then size is that, and then that's it. Okay, now so that's what I want, and then this is going to be create a method, and then we're going to return this. So except push up method. Yeah, I want to push this up to the superclass. Now I have stroke there. Ah, that's nice. Okay. So if I think if I open this up again, now it should be, yeah, now it's up on Beck's const. So all the constants will share the same stroke. In fact, maybe what I would just say is like self-color. And then I'll push all these methods up. So create method, color in back. So color would be return color from hex string 333. All right, so check that. And then the background is self-color. And then since that is now a method, we can push this up. And so we'll, how do I do it? Right click anywhere? We have to save it first. Maybe that means it's modified. Yeah. And then so now, why can't I push that up? Okay, now I can push it up. I don't know why that. Push up method. Now it's there. Is it because it wasn't saved before? Maybe it wasn't fully saved. I don't know, but it wasn't. It just wasn't there a second ago. All right, so push that up. All right, so now the Bex const has stroke and stencil. And I guess we might as well push this one up too. So push this method up to Bex const, and then I want to push this up. I bet I can do this. Instance. But it's going to be mad, right? It's not going to be able. So each slot has. Yeah, I don't know if I inherit this or not. Let's try it. Let's just do the experiment. So, okay, so let's just put it up here, and there'll be one instance. But I think that I don't know if that gives me one const or not, or you know, or like one. Do I get one instance per subclass, or just one instance for all of them? We'll find out. But for now, we should be able to say this and inspect it, and now we get a drawing, and now it's black. Okay, and then if I say Bex I new, and I inspect it, it should give me an error because it doesn't exist, which it does. Okay. Boom. And then if we say, wait, what? What does it think Bex I is? Oh, superclass is true. I did make that. It does exist. Okay, so we click on this to open it, and now you can change this, and we make this a Bex const. Okay. And then we're going to make this. We're going to inspect this. And we're going to get the color, and we're going to copy this. Copy. And then in Bex I, we'll inspect this. And we will method, paste the method. Color. Nope, that was not it. Okay, well, I didn't copy it, but it should just be called color. And then this should be color from text string EEE. Okay. Now the question is, if I say Bex I new, They do seem to be distinct objects. Okay. Oh, my head's in the way, isn't it? My head's always in the way. I gotta make it small. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so now I have stencils for these things. Right, I have a class called, I just say BexConst browse. No. But if I inspect this, then I get the constant. Or I can click this and get it right in. Neat. Okay, so I don't need these colors anymore. I don't need these anymore. And now I can make all these things. So what happens if I just run this? Okay, so BexNid does not, BexO does not understand instance. So this is BexO new. But I don't know that I need this, but let's just go ahead and run it. I've never done this. The debugger let me change this in the middle of it, so I save this and now I just run it. Oh. Okay, so now I got another thing pop up that said add a BexNid, and we don't understand this method. So self nids is what? Is nids. Okay, but nids is nil. Okay, so that's because, okay, so what do I want to do? I want to create what? No, no, no. Uh-oh. What is happening here? Oh, I think I've crashed something. Oh, okay, well, nothing is responsive. Okay, well, let's kill Glamorous Toolkit. I will pin it to my taskbar so that I can find it again. I'm sure there's a trick to dealing with something like that, but no problem. All right. All that I did check that this was saved, so I should have. I don't think I saved that. Ah, I lost everything. Man. All right, so periodically you have to actually save the system in Smalltalk. Okay. All right, or I should have probably tried harder to recover from that. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but now I can redo everything I just did a whole lot faster. All right, so this is BexCanvas. We're going to create that. Create class BexCanvas. Superclass, it's in Bex. Yep. BexO is a class, and it is create class XO. Yeah. Superclass is something that doesn't exist yet, so let's just call it object for now, and that's going to go in Bex. Bex const is what I should have created first, so create const. That is a superclass subclass of object, so that goes in Bex. Now we can open Bex O, and I realize that the font is much smaller now. And I will fix that in just a second. So superclass is Bex const. Right. So let's do this. I have this. I have TS Pharo. Did it say? Did this? Hang on. This is what I'm just creating right now. Yeah, it doesn't have any kind of. It didn't. I lost all that work. That's fine. It wasn't a lot of work. It was a lot of thinking, but then in the end, I didn't write much code. Okay, so I was gonna find the scale the UI, scale the UI, and I'm gonna go to that, and then I'm going to scale this, and then I'm going to that. Now I'm going to save it. Okay. Right, so I have to create all that const stuff again. So can you move this up? So yeah, really, Bex const goes at the top, and then we're going to create this one up here, and then I want this one to be like at the very bottom. Okay. All right, so I can inspect this. Get it. Instance. Okay. And then the methods were new. Come on. New. And then instance if nil. I have to save this. And then oh, it says it's an instance variable. So instance, yeah, now it works. So instance if nil, then instance equals super new. and then return instance. All right, and then what else do we have? Now we have on an instance we had I'll just do one for each one of them. So geometry. Would be BL circle geometry new. Cascade methods. Okay. And then the and then the border will be a B BL pen, BL paint. I don't know what it is. I'll go back to my table and I'll go to the actual one, even though I think they all have the same. So BL border paint. Yeah, that was gone. So this is getting saved, but the Smalltalk database is not getting saved. I was confusing those two. So geometry, and I was adding this. So, okay. All these things exist on the constants, so all the constants will have these same methods: border, geometry, size, and new. So they'll all be, well, they won't all be circles, because some of them are going to be squares. Like XOR is going to be a constant function, or it's not a constant. This is like constant in the sense like it's a predefined keyword kind of thing that exists, and it's the part of the language of Bex or whatever. Okay, so we have these, and now Bex O to inspect this. Oh, we don't have the drawing yet, so let's go ahead and add a drawing for it. And this would be GT drawing for a view. It is a GT view. This pragma makes it appear in one of these lists, or up here. And then it is return a view explicit. I think the alternative to explicit is that you what am I trying to say? The alternative to explicit is that you forward the view to some other object. All right, so a view explicit, and then we need the title is drawing. And stencil is self-stencil. And then we fill this in. And stencil is return a BL element new geometry is self geometry. Background, self color. Border, self stroke. Self border, I called it. Self border. Size, self size. And that's it. Return that. And then add new method color on the constant, and we will return color sign. A default color really means subclass. You know, it means to override. A default color to be overridden. All right. Subclasses XO. And then this one has a color. And this is color from hex string. And it is O would be 333. And then okay. All right, so now I'm going to save all that. I'm going to save all this now. And then we'll save and SI. Okay, so that doesn't exist yet. So create class BexI. Superclass is BexConst. Package is Bex, and we're done. Right. Did not understand release cache. Mm-hmm. What happened to my... I didn't make it. Okay, so color is... Well, it should have just inherited the cyan one, right? Color is color from hex string EEE. If I say this thing though, and I inspect it, I should get the actual drawing. What does that mean? So it was trying to clean the cache of the old geometry. BL element. Self stencil. Turn BL element new. Geometry, self geometry, background, self color. Border, self border, size, self size. Is that not the same thing that I did before? Self geometry. Oh, I didn't return the thing. My background is a color. Turns the color. Border is a border. Size is a size. All right, so I think now if I just do this, yeah, there we go. All right, so I can see all the constants I've defined. Okay, and maybe I will put a label on these. And if I have a label, then I need a background color and a foreground color, don't I? Okay. All right, so we don't need this yet. We don't need a Bex nid. We just need Bexo new, but now add and add a nid. Yeah, so a nid. This would be self nids add a nid. And we're going to add this. Nope. I lost all that. Okay. Oh, because I didn't. Okay. So this has, the canvas has this thing called nids, right? And then we need an initialize and nids is going to be the class thing? No. Oh yeah, right, because this should be nids here, and then this should not be. That's what I want. All right, nids now is on the instance, and nids equals order collection new. And then hopefully that should allow me to add an object. So Bex canvas new, add an object. Now I say add nid self, no, just nids add a nid. And if I run this now, now I expect to see nothing because I didn't draw the canvas yet. So let's copy that drawing for method. Copy. And now go to that one, and then we're going to add a new method called what? Called same thing, get drawing for a view. So stencil, but rather than stencil, so yeah, that's the stencil though. And then stencil is root. So order is same thing as a vex const. I keep, as I go over here, I lose my context, don't I? Maybe because it was in this? Okay, so yeah, so I can't tell if it's auto formatting the code or if it's okay. Looks about like what I'm expecting. Okay, so now if I look at the canvas, I do have a drawing, but the drawing is not complete. Pencil. Okay, so I actually really want to make like a, so root, and we're going to say root is equal to this thing, and then eventually we're going to return root. But now we're going to say self, or we're going to say nids, like I want to for each, nids each, this over here. So collections. There was a working with collections in Pharo I wanted to see. Accessing and updating collections. At put yourself, querying and enumerating collections, iterating with do, I think. Okay, so just do. With all subclasses, do each. Okay, so then what I want to say is well, first of all, I should be able to say I should just be able to say stencil and inspect it, and then I'll get the drawing, right? But then now I can put the code over here. Okay, so then I can say nids do, and then for each, and then do something with it. And then that should just work. Do nothing, right? Okay. And what I want to say is like root add child. Root add child each stencil. Now I should see one dot up here. And the reason I see one dot is because there's actually two dots here. How would I see them? I prove that. Children. No, children shortcuts. Children. Oh. Oh, there's not two dots here. I'm ahead of myself. That's I knew. And now I'm going to see I'm only going to see one though. See, there's two here, but when I look at the live, I'm only going to see one because they're on top of each other. And the way to fix that, well, the way I was fixing it before would be to do this, but no, what I want to do instead is make a Mondrian view. So finally we're at Mondrian. All right, so okay, so let's figure out how to use Mondrian. Save all this stuff. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and check in all my code. Keep that up. And then let's go to the Git tool. And then we'll go to this. And I think I deleted this. I'm not sure what to make of that. So keep these uncommitted. Commit start on All right, so we'll call this Beck start on drawing constants. Start on drawing constants. If is detached if true, okay, what does that mean? Detached working copy. I don't know what a detached working copy means. No, I don't want to do that. The reference commit is not the repository head. What is it saying? My branch is up to date. And so I think what's important is get diff letter properties. This is important because add table of contents. So to change the table of contents, you have to actually go to the file system and change this. And I wonder, I think I screwed up when I did that because I had to like stop Smalltalk and then I don't know what happened. But I think it's complaining that the working copy is dirty, is what I'm getting at. Get diff. Well, for those ones that are modified, it doesn't like all that changed was the whether the code was visible or not. So maybe we're good. Working copy, so detached. Okay. Let's just open this again, see if it likes it now. So, attached working copy. The class. I have no idea what to do here. Is it mad about the presence of these files? Git. I don't think git diff is going to do anything. So what's in these files? It's kind of, I don't see what else it could be other than this, right? So 1.1. Let's just do this git stash. So now it's clean. Detached working copy. There's a bug in the system that you can't. Okay. You can't create a folder. So you can't do this. All right. So what can I do? So we're going to call this TS Pharo 2. We're going to add, go to local repository, for TS Pharo 2, import. Commit changes. All right, we're going to push that. And now that's up to date. It doesn't know, it didn't notice that I had a database, or I guess it's not the same database. Didn't pick up the database basically, even though it's here. Okay. The changes are all gone because they're all in the stash. Okay. Git status. I did push that, right? Oh, TS Pharo 2. Okay. So I'm gonna quit and come back. I don't know what to make of this, but I'm going to remove this. Move repository is re-added. Go to local repository. D for Pharo import. Actually, let's just remove this. Remove this again. Git pull. Now we'll add it. I hate that I can't just type in here. Right, and it says we're up to date. Now if I say git dash pop, git diff, right, I'm just going to commit this. Better working on Vex drawings. You know, this kind of thing happens when you're learning a new system sometimes, and you just got to deal with it. And I don't know, not a big deal. Not exactly my idea of a good time, but whatever. All right. Mm-hmm. Let's quit again. No, let's close this. I think that's. Like, I think that's what I just committed, right? Text canvas new. Yeah, so all that stuff is committed. So let's close all this. Close all this. close this. And go to Leopard. And we've lost that database, but we'll just add the Pharo, Pharo, Leopard, database. Okay. Looks like I'm back. This is clean. This is clean. Save. Okay. All right. Now let's see if it actually, let's see if this works now. So I should be able to inspect that class. It should exist. It does. There's all my methods. Items. And if I ask for the canvas, I get the canvas. Okay, so what I was about to do before I did all that was I was going to switch over to Mondrian. But what I should also do is add these event handlers. So let's go ahead and add. So this was the clicking thing. I'm not going to have that, but I will have the pull handler. So each stencil. Each stencil, and then each stencil add event handler. And this is, do I need a dot at the end of this? Okay, that's actually, you don't, okay, so each is do each, and then turn the root. I am happy with that. And now I don't need this. This was just allowing me to explicitly see that. Well, okay, if I run it. Oh, not stencil, I want this. And now I should be able to move these out of the way. Okay. And then as for arranging them in the first place, that's what Mondrian is for. Or that's what I'm going to use Mondrian for. So I don't think I need anything else. Maybe the click handler. Because I will use the click handler when I get to variables. So add event handler for click handler soon. Variables with click handler. But then all this goes away. And then this, I don't need any of that. So how about Bex there, stencil, yeah, so this goes, I don't need this anymore. And I can just say that. Do I need the end dot? No, I don't. Okay. So it's a separator, not a not a terminator. At least it appears to be. Could be wrong. Okay. All right, so now let's check this in. Oh, detached working copy again. How? Okay, so Lepiter changes are causing it to git status, git add Lepiter, git commit -m Lepiter clean up that stuff. Okay. I think maybe I need to add all right, so let's just copy this text. Okay. Clearly, I'm doing something very, very wrong. We have commit, Lepiter cleanup fix. Okay, fine, push that. Everything's up to date. Okay, so I think my problem is that this thing does not recognize this as a database. And then when I make a change in Lepiter, random change, or arbitrary change, not random, arbitrary change. Wait for this to update. I don't think you can force it. Maybe you, I don't know what you do. You just gotta wait for it to change. Okay, so now it changed. Yes, Pharo, fetch list of repositories. Uncommitted changes. Right now it's seeing that as pages. Again, it's seeing that as a change again. Yeah, I think the problem was it didn't have this database in here. I'm going to save this now. And then can I I really want to revert this change. I don't know how to do that in here. I know how to do it in the file system. I don't know how to do it. Okay. All right, well, I really can just delete this page, right? Let's just delete the whole page. Oh no, this is my contents. So TS Pharo notebook. Tangent storm Pharo notebook. Because I made a change in this file, it looks like I can't roll it back and commit it anyway, so let's add a Pharo link. No, I bet that's I just learned how to do a table of contents. Every Leopard database can have a table of contents. It can be used to organize pages at the moment, blah, blah, blah. I did this. Add links to them from that page, okay? Then when I go to the top, oh, so you use this to use this thing to indent snippet, unindent. Okay, so then how do you make a link like that? Okay, so then here I can say, I can see what the unclassified pages are, and I can say drawing input variables for Bex. Block examples, and then so if I say like that stuff, then I can move this up. There's a way to do this with the keyboard, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. And then other stuff. Let's say Pharo stuff. And one thing, question in here. And then key questions. Okay. Can I force it to save? No. Control S does not force it to save, so you just have to wait. Hmm. Oh, it syncs within a minute or so. Hmm. Can't rearrange these. Can't drag these around. Okay. Okay, so then hit update leopard make real table of contents. Real table. And push. Okay. I think this is probably everything I need now. We don't really need text const anymore in this document. Oh, oh, and then we lost that thing, right? Because I took it out, right? So then stencil, right? When we get the stencil, okay, so I lost the whatever I was doing there, but oh, it was just it was well, no, it wasn't. It was BL event BL pull event, right? Pull handler, and then something about prevent. Let's just look at the examples. BL pull handler new disallow out of bounds. Now they move. Don't need this anymore. And then we'll commit this one and we'll call it Flex Canvas. Make mids draggable. Make contents draggable. Oh. And now this is just the changes I just made in this. Okay. Which I don't really need to keep. It is 11 o'clock, but I would at the very least like to get, I mean, I call this video Mondrian. I'm like 18,000 hours into it, and I have done nothing with Mondrian. All right, so let's do something with Mondrian. At the very least, let us Mondrian. Do I just say view layout tree? Tree. Okay, so what I'm confused by, I guess GT Mondrian is a element. No, as element maybe. So let's see. I did. If I go here, packages, and I load my old stuff, Bex debug, that package, and then I guess I would open a coder. So if I look for Bex debug package, the GT graph for did return this. Right, so a view Mondrian is what we say. And then layout tree. Okay. So rather than doing this to choose drawing for, we'll say Mondrian. Nodes. Okay, hang on. Okay, so Mondrian, a view Mondrian. Title is whatever it is, and then painting. Okay, painting is what I did last time. So painting has a graph and an edge. Takes a graph. Okay. Painting takes a graph. Okay, so here I say painting, and it takes a graph. And then G nodes I think I say X, and then I just tell it to G node shape X with VHL. So we say G nodes shape X, and then X is just X stencil. With, that's not right. G nodes shape semicolon, shape takes a block, and then a semicolon with VHL. With is. Okay. There we go. So I probably want to put that back in, background. Color from text string, whatever it was before. Oh, I can look at self stencil. Okay, so back to canvas, stencil. Or just how about we put self BG? Self BG color. Add that as a slot. Add initialize BG color equals color from hex string 236699. I don't need friends. Self. Oh, let's say BG color. And I think in here I can say deprecated. Is deprecated. I just wanted to deprecate that method though. Okay, do I even need this? Well, they weren't draggable, so I think I should move this. And so then I should say extensile add event handler I don't think they're all drag. They shouldn't. The shape itself shouldn't just always be draggable. Sometimes you want a static drawing. So this we're happy with, and this probably goes away, right? Yeah, I think this is trash. All right, so now if I run this, I got an error. Not understand size. Okay. Doesn't understand background. It does not understand size or background. Okay. Seems strange. I bet there's a way to do it. Here we have the drawing. Okay. Now I'm starting to suspect that this is not necessary. And then G layout tree. Let's comment this out for a second. Because this makes a thing that I know is draggable, but it's not. I'm not seeing where I'm making it draggable. And I wonder if I can say G size. First of all, let's just try this. Fine. Okay, now they're draggable. Just using the tree made it draggable, or layout tree made it draggable. They're just always draggable. All right, so we don't need this. Tree, and then how about G background? So BG color or BG color. Mondrian node builder did not understand. Okay, so GT Mondrian layout. There's an example up here where it uses these. So they have a background. I would say I would say root. G root. No. The view is the Mondrian thing? A view Mondrian. A view Mondrian. G I feel like that should probably work, but then it's going to tell me the. I think that's what I just did though. Oh, it worked. Okay, so now if I say, yeah, now I can say the size is 640 at 4. There might have been a better way to guess at what that was, how that was supposed to be put together, but and then I want to say priority on this thing. Priority. Let's make it priority 10. And that will make it the first window. Maybe it's because I. Or not. Okay, so it's just zooming on its own. Okay. All right, so that's nice, but like now if I want it to be an element, I'm not sure how to do that. I don't know how to get this element. I was going to put it like as a picture in here, but I don't know how to do that because it's not a. I mean, I can put an inspector here. How do you do this? Constant sample. Okay, so now how do I? Yeah, okay. X canvas constant. Okay. No. How is it doing these examples in here? Preview expanded equals true. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't set the size in there. I don't need that. Click this, and then under meta, drawing for, get rid of this. There we go. Nice. All right, so now we don't need this. I think maybe we just put a just text, and then you just copy this. Like you just write, like in the markdown, GT example. There we go. But I think they even had some that are not. Oh. Okay, so you do, they just by convention show the source code. Okay. So I don't need two copies. Is that it? Oh, and half of that. Yeah, I gotta. Sorry, I keep forgetting that I'm covering up the text with my head here. I need to put like something on my screen so that like it covers up that exact spot, and then. Like a little always on top window that I have to move around. All right, it's 11:30 here. This has been almost a 3-hour stream. I don't know if this kind of thing is useful to anybody. I'm kind of thinking, you put, you know, AI is getting to the point where it can summarize just about anything, and storage is cheap, so it might not be useful now, but maybe at some point I can look back and say, how did I do it? And some little AI assistant will point me right at the YouTube link for exactly what I was doing. Although part of the promise of these tools here that you don't have to deal with that kind of stuff. But whatever, I don't know. Maybe this is useful to somebody who wants to learn Smalltalk, or who wants to learn how to learn a new language. Because I'm definitely not good at Smalltalk, but I'm pretty good at learning new languages and getting up to speed and finding my way around in the system. I guess because I've been doing it for many years. I'm happy with this. So basically, just to sum up, what we've done today is what? We've taken this. Well, first of all, let's check this code in. Okay, so everything's saved, so let's just commit everything. Actually use Mondrian. So actually use Mondrian. Use Mondrian for layout. Use Mondrian to draw the nibs. Okay, so yeah, that's good. Basically, what's been accomplished here, what I've accomplished here tonight, is I took that example of having a bunch of little draggable bits that I could click on and switch their properties. Now I have this notion of a canvas. I have a notion of, maybe I should call this a vector drawing or something. But I have a notion of a drawing that contains NIDs. I have a notion of O and I, or 0 and 1, true and false. True, this is false. I've got the start of using Mondrian. I called this video Mondrian and really did not do much with Mondrian except at the very end here. But yeah, so and then I have a thing to do next, which is make variables. So a variable will be a new kind of, I call that a const, but probably it should be it should have a different name. Singleton NIDs or whatever. Because meaning that they word virtual comes to mind, but I'm already using that word for something else. Yeah, but the point is that you don't actually store a NID is an identifier for a node, but you don't actually store the node in the database. Now I don't have a database here, right? I haven't gotten that far. But the idea is that, like in Rust you have a vector of an array that contains all the nodes of the expression of the abstract syntax tree of the expression, and then you would, it has two fields. One field is like what the operator is, and the other field is like what are the arguments, and then those arguments are NIDs, which are references to other nodes in that vector. Or sometimes they are, and then sometimes they are references to input variables and constants and things like that, which don't need to be in the vector because there's enough space in the NID itself to store that constant information. And then in Rust, I'm just starting to get to the point where you know, it's a 64-bit, a NID is a 64-bit structure, and I'm not using all those bits, so I'm going to take the lower 32 bits sometimes, and I'll be able to say, well, I'll use one of the top bits and say, hey, treat this thing as a truth table, and then the lower 32 bits can just be the truth table, and that gives you a complete truth table, a complete description of a function of up to 5 variables, a Boolean function of up to 5 variables. And so what it needs to look like on the screen here is, so it has two properties. One is the arity. How many variables does it take? How many inputs does it take? Which is some number between, well, like these would be constant functions that return 0 and 1 respectively, and so their arity is 0. A variable has arity 1, so 1 and 0 don't really count. So really the arity is going to be between 2, 3, 4, or 5. And those are the only possibilities. Because more than 5 doesn't fit in a NID, right? Because I need some of it's 64 bits, and a 6-bit truth table is 64 bits, and so there's not enough space to say, hey, this is a truth table. And so you can only have 5. But 5 input variables, it gives you a 32-bit truth table, and there are 4.2 billion possible functions you can describe with a truth with those 32 bits. Because 2 to the 32 is 4.2 billion something. And so the idea is that the large portions of your AST that only deal with 5 variables could be compressed to a single node. It could be a single entry in the database, or not even an entry, just a just a single 64-bit variable. And then some of the other the high bits, right, are not all used either. So I'm only using about 8 of those, and so that leaves I think I don't. It's not exactly 8, but basically I'm thinking there's 16 to 20 bits I can use to say which variables are we talking about. So which variables are those 5 variables? Are the 5 inputs? And that'll be interesting to draw. And then so of the 8 bits that are like metadata, one of them is like, yes, this is describing an input. So I talked about this a while back in a video called TNIDs and FNIDs. TNIDs are a table that take a specific 2 to 5 inputs, right? So it would represent something like x4 and x7, right? Or x3 and x19 or something like that, up to whatever the number of bits I'm allowing for it. And it would just be a bit mask, right? That's how you would store which 5 bits they are. Because you don't have room for anything else. There's no room to put numbers, because the numbers require too many bits. So and you need 5 of them. So you could only have 4-bit numbers, and that gives you 16. But no, yeah, I mean it would give you I'm just rambling. Basically, with it winds up being about the same. Right? You can't do better than just using the bits to represent it, specifically represent which ones they are. But anyway, there'd be one input for showing, or any function of up to 5 of the lowest 20 variables would be stored in a single 64-bit NID, no matter how complicated it is. No matter how complicated the expression is, it would simplify down to that, which is nice. Okay, so I've got to start on this. That really that concept is kind of what I want to get to in this visualization, because I don't have it implemented on the Rust side, and I guess my point, what I was doing is, like the reason I'm doing it in Rust is because Rust is very fast, but all the AST management stuff doesn't have to be fast, because you only do that once and it's fast anyway. It's always a linear algorithm. So you can, or at least the stuff I've been doing has always been linear to generate an AST. It's like once you have the AST, you have the expression, you parse the input, or you've generated the structure you want to do. But it's in a form that's not amenable to, like you want to turn it into a truth table, or a binary decision diagram, or algebraic normal form, or conjunctive normal form, run a stat solver on it, anything like that. And so that takes work, like significant work, and that's why it has to be. That's why you want it to be in Rust, and you want it to be multi-threaded and do all that stuff. But the actual, just like drawing the AST as the input makes sense to do. Like it doesn't matter if I'm duplicating the code here, and like doing some of the logic, prototyping some of the Rust logic in Smalltalk. I don't mind that. All right, well, I made a video called Mondrian. Didn't really get to much Mondrian, so maybe I'll change the thumbnail, but I am going to bed right now. So I had one view anyway, so people are actually somebody came by for a couple of minutes, and somebody stayed around for 10 minutes. So whoever that was, thank you for watching. Sorry this wasn't terribly exciting this time, but that's how it goes. But I learned a lot. So this is the kind of thing that really ought to be edited if it's to be valuable, but I'm going to edit it, so I don't have the time, and this isn't, if I did have the time, I would want to put it into something else. So I'm putting my time into making these tools so that I can make better videos in the future, and some of my videos are bad. That's too bad. Anyway, if someone watches this is in the future, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and hopefully next time will be a little more interesting, but I am happy with the result. And you can also, if you want to play with this yourself, you can actually go to github.com, TangentStorm, TS Pharo, and grab Glamorous Toolkit. Check this out to your local thing, and then just add a Git repo here, and you'll be able to play with this. Yep. All right. That's it. Adios.